and welcome everybody. We're all sitting here going, okay, who's going to talk first? So we decided since last week was, a, we thought a really good show. People got to come on and voice how they felt, and we had a lot of comments that it would be appropriate to do another one because we need to keep this going. Um, and there she is. You want me to bring her on? Yay. So I'm Deb DeRoos, and we are here with the beautiful Madison and
Hi,
Beth
Madison.
and Stephanie. So um, we have lots to talk about. And since Madison is here, dang, growing up. Um, Stephanie, if you want to start.
Okay. So we're, once again talking about kind of in general, I think women's rights, but specifically, the overturning of Roe versus Wade has really brought to the forefront a lot of the injustices and oppressions that we are facing. And, we're at a point right now where from what it looks like it's just going to get worse. And so I think it's important to talk about these things so that we can try to stop that train that's running off the tracks. And I thought it would be important for Madison to be here. Obviously she's a younger generation, and I think kids her age are much more active and informed than any other generation has been, for at least for a long time. So I thought it would be really interesting to get her point of view and what kids her age are saying about it all, especially growing up, in northern Michigan, where it's a bit more conservative than other places. And then me being from California, where we're all just hippies, she's kind of had a bit of a weird upbringing. So she probably has a more unique point of view on it than maybe other kids her age.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear her point of view on this.
Oh, I have a lot to say.
Awesome. Awesome. So, can I ask you something, Madison?
Yeah.
When you first heard about this, the overturn of Roe versus Wade, how did you feel?
I felt like really upset. Like I started crying because I was really upset and scared because it's the scary thing because, feeling that now guys will try to take more advantage. It's like, this is scary. It's like, it's a scary thing. Like it's normal to feel scared. But this is just more scary because it's risking lives.
Yeah.
We want to turn that around to make you feel more empowered. And I know that's hard right now because we're having things taken away. But if we can get this ratified to a federal law, it might end up being a good thing. I don't know. So, but I think most of us here, us elders, we want to raise up you young girls and help you feel empowered and not fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And, I think the scared is a very honest answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine, I was talking with RJ last night after their show and explaining, there's so many people, I'm hearing so many people say, well, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect anyone in my house.
What a selfish.
It doesn't affect me as far as, I can't get pregnant. I'm 64.
Right.
But it affects me because I love our younger people.
Mm-hmm.
My daughters, my granddaughters, your daughters, and I'm just so thrilled to have Madison come on here and be able to give that point of view. Yes, we are afraid for them. We're scared for them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear her
and Madison, we also fought for those rights. Us old people, we all fought for those rights. And it's like, I can associate it with you with your kitty cat or something. And then because I know you're going through that, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It's just a really big sense of loss for us, but it's also, like Deb said, we're more afraid about losing for the future generations and the younger generations.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we thought we had a victory. We thought we had done something to make a difference in this world, and to have it once again by mostly white men snatched away,
right,
really sucks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Madison, how old are you, can I ask?
I'm 14.
Jeez. Holy cow, she's growing up.
I know.
So
Yep.
do kids your age do you guys talk about stuff like this? Do you talk about like Supreme Court rulings and
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I've posted stuff about it on like Snapchat and stuff, and I've had my friends come to me and be like, yeah, this is just, it's not it. It's just not a good thing. And then we're like just talking about like different things. Like, I saw this one sign from a protest that said, I'm 66. Why am I still protesting about this? And it's just like, yeah, it's true. Like, so.
Does that scare you that you'll be 66 someday and still have to be protesting about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Beth and I are, pretty close, way too close to that.
Real close.
But it's important that we all use our voice. I understand that younger people can't vote, but you do have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So happy to see that you're not afraid to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that kids her age are active and involved and learning and educating themselves and others. And, Madison knows that she can always come to me if she has questions or doesn't understand or has opinions, and she's going to be heard and she's going to be listened to. And, that's kind of the relationship I've tried to foster with her, is having an open dialogue where we can discuss these things. And she doesn't have to feel like she needs to hide or she needs to be scared or anything.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, from our generation, Madison, we didn't have that open, at least I didn't, with my mom. She was more open than most moms, but we still didn't talk about these kind of issues at all.
Yeah. Well,
so it's good that we're in that time of era.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Safe conversations. Welcome, Julie. And it is important that we're all able to use our voice. So, Madison, when you talk to your friends, do you think more of them you're being pet bothered?
Yep.
More of them are upset about this than are not upset about it?
They're more, they're very upset. It's kind of like just a bunch of emotions throwing it at once. Like, they're scared, they're sad, upset, angry, like just everything at once.
And do you have any friends or people who either don't care or are on the opposite side?
Yeah, there's a few.
How do you deal with that?
I kind of ignore it. And I mean, there's a couple, but they're actually like really nice people. They're just voicing their opinion.
Right.
But I mean, it's still kind of upsetting having to hear that they go with that opinion, like that side, rather than the other side.
Right. What about the boys?
Oh, yeah. Those two are boys, the two I'm talking about.
Okay. But do other boys support your belief system?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. And isn't it a shame that there has to be sides, that it's got to be one side or another side when it comes to women's rights and healthcare?
Yep. Yep.
Well, I liked what she said. They're nice people. They just have a different opinion.
Right.
And we can also know sometimes, Madison, that different opinion can come from, if their family's really religious or that type of thing. So you got to, what's that?
Yeah, both of them are Christians.
Yeah.
So they're they're very religious. And so I see where that's coming from. I see that it's coming from their religion. And it's just, it could be a choice of thought, but it could also be this is how they're set to believe. This is how their parents have set them to believe.
Exactly. Good insight there.
Yeah. 14 years old. Wow.
Yeah. So how did it feel? You went to your first march with your mom and me, and we just loved to see you blossom into this wonderful activist. How does that feel? Does that feel empowering? I know it's scary at first. I know that was very scary to get up there with the sign. But how do you feel now that you're an activist?
It was a lot of fun. I saw a few friends, so I stood with them, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It felt really nice. It felt like really nice.
But did it feel like a release that you finally got to speak what you were feeling?
Yep. Yeah.
And was it easier for you to be there with your friends rather than being there with your mom and Beth? Having kids your age there. I know it's hard for young girls, you want to look cool and stuff like that. So I think having your friends there made it a little bit easier for you to get up there with the sign and to chant and yell.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I was really impressed with your friends as well. I'm glad to see you have friends like that.
Yeah, one of them, she is always posting on TikTok about rights and stuff, like rights for people that are gay and people that just part of the LGBTQ community, women, Black people, other people of race, and she always stands up and voices that stuff out.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that's great you're friends with her.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. And when I was Madison's age, I was just thinking, and you too, Beth, our protest was about Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm. And that was so difficult because my two uncles were in Vietnam. Yet there was something deep inside me, even as a kid, that I knew that it wasn't correct. Mm-hmm. Not what my uncles were doing, but what
the reason behind it.
Actually forced to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. They were drafted. And
yeah.
They were forced to do it.
Boys at my school always joke about drafting, but drafting is a serious and scary thing. I get that can be once or twice, it could be a little bit funny, but after doing it repeatedly, it just isn't funny, and it's a serious and scary thing.
I missed what that was. What were they doing?
They were joking around about drafting people and stuff.
Oh. I thought drafting was an activity I didn't know about.
Wrong draft.
I was what's drafting? Great. I'm out of touch.
Okay. Do we still have the draft? I assume we do.
I think we do. It just hasn't been enacted.
Only.
I think people still have to register.
They still have to register at 18 years old, but it's highly unlikely for someone to get drafted unless it's an emergency.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you feel? It almost is like COVID, like you were cheated kind of out of 4th of July. I hope you still had some fun, but I hope you still wore black and let people know that we're losing our rights.
I wore all black.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay that you had some fun on the 4th of July because we don't want to take that from you, but you understand our stance where we kind of boycotted things.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all about Independence Day and freedom. And they've kind of taken that from us.
Mm-hmm.
And it just blows my mind that 9 people sitting, together can make a decision like this.
Unelected people we didn't get to choose.
The worst part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of these people, are just put in for life. They're there. There's nothing you can do.
Yep.
And here's something that happened today that I want to address to anybody that might listening that's either on the fence or on the opposite side, if they feel this way. We had a mass shooting again today.
Yeah.
6 people dead and dozens injured in a 4th of July parade in Illinois.
Yeah.
How can you, with a conscience, worry about cells that have come together over people who are here and then now and are people's sisters, brothers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, fathers, mothers. But it's okay to bear those arms. So if you're a gun protester against regulation, but you're an anti-abortionist, you're a hypocrite.
Right.
And you need to look in the mirror and think about some of your choices, because this is ridiculous. And I'm sick of that, hearing that constantly. And one side, they don't want you to take their guns away, but you better not kill a couple not even kill. You better not get rid of a couple cells that have come together in a woman's body.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no 18-year-old should be allowed to walk around with 2 assault rifles.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's another show, but I can't imagine what it's like to go to school in these days.
Yeah, I mean, those kids have lots of potential than a clump of cells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to figure out a way to fashion the doctor's tools to look like a gun, and then they'll be able to give abortions.
There you go. I think that's probably doable. We're going to see it on, what's that show where they stand before those millionaires and they decide if they're going to buy your product or not?
Oh, Shark Tank.
Yeah, Shark Tank. Yeah.
I mean, they're not even like stopping abortions. They're just stopping safe abortions.
Exactly.
Thank you, Madison.
And we really liked what the guys were awesome last night. If you didn't see Men's Corner, you should look it up on YouTube. They did an excellent job. And I love that they went and they talked about all the different subjects, including rape and incest and all that. But all that doesn't matter. Our body, our say, our right. No matter what reason I want to control my body, it's my business. It's not, especially some man's business out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We all know that, in all honesty, most women don't just say, oh, I think I'm going to have an abortion. I'm going to try that.
Sounds good for Thursday.
Right. There's usually a darn good reason, the ectopic pregnancies or, rape, incest. And I can honestly say, financial. Yeah.
Being too young.
Right. And, we keep getting the argument, put them up for adoption.
I know a lot of foster care that's out there whipping the kids.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Some of these foster homes, some of the adoptive homes are not safe. I've heard of the sex trafficking and all of that through adoptive parents or foster parents. It's not ideal. I was a foster parent for many years. I would never, ever hurt or abuse anybody. But, being in that field, I saw a lot of sadness, a lot of other foster homes that weren't quite appropriate, or, many kids that were just miserable. But there's so many reasons. And like Beth and your mom have said, Madison, it's not our choice or our right to tell other people what choice to make for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love what Jason said last night, where he said, no matter what the reason is, it's none of my business why she wants to or why she needs to. It's
Right.
just, you used to have the choice that you could or you couldn't. That's the choice. If you're,
Right.
whatever kind of Christian that's against abortion, then don't have an abortion.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's not right for you. And I can tell you, I've never had an abortion. Not that that's anybody's business.
I haven't either.
I never have. But I haven't, I've told the story before. I was raped at 12. And my biggest fear was that I would be pregnant. I was afraid to even tell anybody that I'd been raped. And, the whole thing was so scary and horrible for me. But I knew older girls who had given themselves an abortion, an unsafe abortion. I had one friend who died from it. Right. But I knew that if I were pregnant, I would have to do that because I was 12. I was raped. This person would not help me. There would be no way I could take care of it.
No.
And the trauma behind the whole thing. But honestly, I've never been in that position.
Right.
So
just like the 10-year-old that was, denied in Ohio this week.
Right. And she had an ectopic pregnancy, meaning the baby's not even alive or the fetus is not alive. There's nothing
and she was raped
in there.
Yeah.
She was raped. Yeah. And to save her life, because an ectopic pregnancy will kill you if your body doesn't rid itself of it. To save her life, they had to take her someplace else.
The guy made a really good point about that too. I think it was Jason too that said, I think all of them said, so what happens financially? Is that burden going to be on the woman when she goes to another state because their insurance or Medicaid or Medicare, whatever it is?
Oh yeah.
Won't cover that. So you got a whole lot of expenses. And if, like they were talking about, if you're an inner city person or rural and you don't have a lot of disposable income, and it's your problem, let's be honest. The man, the boy, he doesn't have to help.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, like you said, Deb, it's a life-threatening thing for her.
Right.
Would they let her die?
They would.
Who at 6 weeks knew they were pregnant? Did either of you know at 6 weeks that you were pregnant? No. I didn't know for 2 months. Like at least 2 months. And unless you are so incredibly regular to the day, on time, exactly the day. What are the odds at 6 weeks that you're, that girl was 6 weeks and 3 days. So she was 3 days past that 6 week mark.
Regardless, she was 10 years old.
Yeah, 10 years old.
Her body hasn't even formed yet.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But I want to address what Julie had to say. They want women to carry to birth, but they don't want to provide assistance like WIC, Medicaid, etc., to help raise the children. And she's so right. There is some of that now, but it's been getting less and less and less. And if they're going to take contraceptives away, and they're already talking about, taking away gay marriage and all of that, are they going to help the poor? No.
And these hypocrites that are in charge right now, such as, and I'm talking about the women, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bobbitt. God. They're now saying Bobbitt had abortions, and we don't know about, and we don't get to know about because there's something called privacy. And then you take all the congressmen and senators who's probably helped paid for a few.
Mm-hmm.
What a bunch of hypocrites. I am so sick of it. And preachers and ministers. Yeah. Come on. I saw a meme on Facebook where there was people sitting in front of the TV, people that like that side of the aisle, and they were going, "Yay, no abortions!" And their teenage daughter comes in and says, "I'm pregnant," and they're like, "Abortion, abortion, abortion."
Right.
You know, so it doesn't, until it applies to them, they don't care.
Yeah.
They aren't going to care.
Right. Right.
That's what it is with everything, with anything. They don't care until it happens to them. And even in that instance, they only care about them, about their immediate group of who it affects. They can't look at the bigger picture of, you know, I can look at a situation and I can apply it to myself or to my daughter or to my husband. And I can say, I don't want anyone to have to deal with that, to have to go through with that.
Right.
And they don't have that ability to you know, have that empathy,
Compassion, empathy, but why don't they have it? That's
Right. Yeah.
beyond me. I can't imagine being like that.
yeah.
Right. Again, you know, should this even be something that is in politics? Should anybody even have, you know, be able to say, no, they don't have the right to do that? Yes. You know, it shouldn't even be an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Between me and my doctor. I'm sorry, Madison.
Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, animals can have abortions. Do they still get to keep their rights and we can't?
Good
Just
point.
wait till they find out. Animals can have spay abortions. So how come humans can't?
That's a good point.
Good point.
Nova has more rights than I do.
They say there's even legal possible problems if a woman aborts naturally, because it's called an abortion.
Yeah, spontaneous abortion.
Yep.
Yeah. So we may even run into legal problems because a woman's body just naturally rejected something, and now she's going to be held accountable.
Yeah, as if she's not going through enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a good point, Stephanie. Even with abortions, most women are already going through enough.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely don't need this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally don't need this. And I agree with what Julie says too. It goes right along with this. It comes down to total lack of empathy.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the division, it's scary. But I totally stand firm in this is not really about abortion. This is about showing we can take your rights. We are in control. You have no control. You are the puppet.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop unless we make it stop.
Exactly.
I heard that if you go to another state to get an abortion, you can get in legal trouble back in your state that you live in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, they want neighbors to tell on you, and they want doctors to tell on you, and it's going to be a police state.
Right. And doctors won't be able to, be allowed to do it either. We used to have the backdoor doctors that would sometimes perform them. But it'll be illegal in some states. I'm hoping all states.
Yeah.
And I think it's isn't it 30% of who these laws are being changed for? It's only 30% of the United States that want this and that they are kowtowing to because they want their vote. I mean, come on, 30% of our nation is going to decide for the rest of the 70% of us.
Well, that's if we voted. There wasn't even a vote on this. This was decided by 9 people.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what I mean is the politicians get on board with that 30% just to get their vote in the future.
Yeah.
Because they want to say, oh, I'm anti, though my mistress just had 3 of them. And that's another problem that the guys even hit on. they can afford it. They can send their daughters, mistresses, wives anywhere and pay big bucks.
Yeah.
They're hurting us. They aren't hurting, and they know that. They know that they're safe.
They don't care.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy.
So, Madison, what would you? I know this is a big question and a big answer. So, if you don't have an answer, that's okay. What would you have us do for you and your generation?
I mean, that is a hard question. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't have an answer, but there could be a lot.
So, like marching, do you feel that's effective?
Marching can be effective because I feel like they would probably start getting tired of it or something.
Yeah, I always thought that if we all marched at the same time, shut down Washington, refused to leave, and I get why people say that maybe it wouldn't work, but that's not what.
But it's better than sitting back and doing nothing.
Yeah, that's not how the slaves felt.
Yeah, it's just we're doing bare minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost is going to take something like that, shutting down all of Washington and saying, we're not going away. We just aren't going away. And it doesn't have to just be about abortion. We went to Standing Rock. We have the Native Rocks. We have environmental. We have all these other issues that need to be addressed. And if we all could just do it at the same time, instead of one group goes to Washington, another group's. And I mean, yeah, we block streets for a little while, but it's nothing they're not used to.
Right.
I mean, without violence, how else can we get them to listen to us? It's a question of hunger.
Yeah, that is hard because there's nothing else you can do because they are hiding away in their house.
You can vote with the people that are closest to your mindset into office, but as we saw, that can be blocked too. So,
right.
Yeah. I hope that at least with, local representatives, state representatives, if they are in, kind of with our mindset and they're feeling a bit scared to kind of speak out, I hope that they can see us marching and they can see that they have support, and that will give them the strength to go forward and say, no, this is not okay. This is not how it's going to happen. And they can do something about it. That's what I hope to be the minimum from the marches and the protests.
Yeah. Well, when they weren't letting people in the country, and this is before COVID, this had nothing to do with COVID. Remember all the people that would show up at congressmen's and senators' offices and just bombard them with people being there protesting? I mean, maybe that's what we have to do now if we can't all go to Washington at the same time. Shut down their office.
Yeah. And Dagger says the older generation needs to lead by example.
And that's why I asked the question, because we are signing petitions. We are calling our senators and congressmen. We're marching. We're voting. So if the younger generation had something else, another suggestion for us, I would love to do it for them.
Yeah.
Not burn down the city. Not that.
We need to communicate for sure. And it's so important to vote. But we have to keep having our voices heard. And hopefully that does help inspire the younger generation that are the go-getters. They still have that spunk and that fire and can make things happen maybe a little bit more than we can.
Yeah. Stephanie, hats off to you for raising a young lady who at 14 is already an activist. And, that's probably where AOC came from, parents parents and grandparents who, said, this is important. You got to pay attention. We don't exactly expect you to save the world, but if you want to run for office, Madison, we'll be there for you.
She'd get it done.
Yeah.
And it's hard to try to keep that balance between keeping her informed and not forcing my opinions down her throat. And, I want her to form her own opinions. And if they're different than mine, then, that's not anything bad. I want her to have her own mind and to grow up knowing that she can, one, change the world. I think this generation is pissed off and they're going to change the world.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But I want her to know that she can grow up and she can educate herself and she can learn about things that matter to her. She can form her own opinion. And even if it's different than mine, it's not going to make me love her any less. We can, she's such a strong girl. And now we're working on channeling that strength down the right avenue to where it's going to benefit her and her generation the most. So I think, I'm really grateful that she's been open to learning and open to listening and listening to us and listening to other people that have this knowledge that, everyone has a bit of different knowledge than everybody else. Not everybody knows all the same things. So I'm glad that she has resources that she can go to learn all these different things to help her form her opinions.
Yeah, because it's not just about political issues, which unfortunately this has become, but it's also about deciding your own religion, what you believe in, how you want to love somebody, who you want to love. All those are things that we should give freedom to our children. We can tell them our viewpoint, our side of it, or how we were raised, or what our beliefs are. But in the end, they need to decide. They don't need to be brainwashed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Madison brought up the fact earlier that, a few of her friends have a very different opinion based on how they were raised. So, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, those parents are saying, yes, I've done good. They're.
I instilled the fear in them.
Yeah.
They can live with fear.
Yeah. Isn't that sad? No matter what my belief has always been, I've always wanted my kids to find their own belief, their own path.
Yeah.
They don't have to believe the way I do, and they don't always believe the way I do. Trust me.
Sure.
And I'm not here to bash the religions. I've seen such good stuff come out from like churches that people go to and they get support. They get emotional support, sometimes financial support. Especially lost people who don't have that stability. And so, I'm not trying to say that it's all bad and everything, but once the church and state starts crossing these lines, that's when I think most of us have a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Rhonda, I'm sorry to hear that, but I get you. You're babysitting. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, we feel you.
So she'll listen later.
Yeah.
We still love you, Rhonda Hart.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I know Lexi wanted to be here, but she was she has to work. Like us women, all balancing a lot of different plates and trying to keep them in the air spinning. And she's,
absolutely
strong woman.
Oh,
what did Stephanie say? Go ahead, Deb.
I feel like in order to make an impact, number one, women have to stop the world, stop working, stop buying, and hit the economy. Number two, we need men to sincerely show up and make their voices known to support us as well.
That's happened in Poland.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I kind of posted on that because I really wanted everyone to read that. In 2020, Poland was hit with this, where the government decided, we're taking your rights. You no longer have the right to choose with your own body. And these women who, I don't know how they did it, but kudos to them. They went on full strike. No cooking, no cleaning, no shopping, no anything, no working. Exactly what she is saying. And that, we might have to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that, Madison?
I mean, yeah, I mean, if that's what we have to do, then we're gonna have to do it because the government shouldn't, and the Supreme Court, they all shouldn't have control over our bodies. Like, I saw a Supreme Court vote from one of the people and said, "Your body, my choice," and I was just like, I was just upset. I was just mad. I was angry.
Crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So you feel that we as women need to do whatever it's going to take
Yeah.
to make this right again.
So what is the percentage of women at work? Let's go that. What if we all decided to quit going to work? And I know that's hard because it kills us financially.
Yeah.
But what if we did? What if we stopped the economy? Because I think there's more women in the workforce than men. Am I wrong?
Let me see.
I don't know, but
We got our little investigator down there in the corner,
Yeah.
Stephanie. She'll find out for
Stephanie
us.
will do it. I can't see. I mean, I could totally see how that could work because how can anything go on? I mean, you have everything from all professions. Nurses alone. How would we? There are male nurses, but not as nearly
teachers.
Yeah. Yep.
Just all kinds of professions are
Right.
run by women. How would a household run? And believe me, I think about it every single day.
Yeah, I do too.
What would happen if I didn't do the dishes and I didn't cook and I didn't
tried it. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I couldn't stand it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel impossible, but it must not be, Stephanie, if Stephanie Bennett, if Poland did it, if they did it.
Yeah, there were some other places involved as well, countries, but I'd have to go back and read it.
What if we all stopped buying groceries and gas for a couple days? Would that have an impact?
Probably not enough. And okay, great point, Andrea. Unfortunately, I myself wouldn't be able to stop work making minimum wage and trying to pay bills. We're already to the max on all of our money and wouldn't be able to afford it and stay living in our house. And they've got us.
Yeah. And we saw what a mess that was during COVID.
Yeah.
When a lot of us couldn't go to work and then you got into the unemployment and that was a big friggin' mess.
Right.
And yeah.
Right. Welcome. It's a new name we haven't seen. So we're very happy to have you. Another divine feminine soul with us.
Feminine soul back at you.
Yeah. And, I love this one too. We would need to support each other. If all women could gather in communes and just take care of one another, we could make it work.
That sounds wonderful.
It sounds like a great break, doesn't it?
Yes.
Girls' night.
Well, the native tradition did that.
Yeah.
Native, you've heard of the red tent and you've heard of the lodge that the natives would go to. And it wasn't like everybody think, oh, they were shunned and they were stuck out of the tribe. No, they wanted to go. They wanted to go because they got to create and paint and dance and sing and use all that. That's why they say that we have anger during that time of month, because we don't know what to do with that energy. You're supposed to be creating. You're supposed to be allowing things to go, to releasing. And our culture, from the Pilgrims on, have taught us to hold it in. So what did that become? It became anger.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold it in and keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, like cooking and cleaning and taking care of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beth's favorite saying, keep sweet.
Yeah. Can you believe they still say that in some of
I know.
religions? Keep sweet. Oh, fuck you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Madison.
It's all right. I'm way worse.
I
She's
know you're
worse.
14.
That was my concern, is that we might get a little vulgar.
Oh,
And
Oops.
Stephanie assured me that Madison's
No.
fine.
She hears it
Oh,
all.
yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Every
that
day.
is, and I think Dagger is making a point, because the whole blame is being put on women. Well, take birth control. Don't have sex if you don't want a baby.
Yeah, they're not telling the men don't have sex if you don't want to have a baby.
Right.
Well, let's be honest. There's
But
more
Dagger
reason.
is saying don't have sex with men. And Madison, I know you're okay with this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that might
could be
be
our
that might be a
protest.
great solution.
There you go.
Just
Don't
like
have sex with congressmen or senators.
Oh, geez. Well, at least they would see to it they had an abortion.
Right.
There you go.
Our society lost their creativity to artificial intelligence, or sometimes any intelligence. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know The Handmaid's Tale is fictional, but if we don't do something, I really feel like we're going in that direction.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's
that was
not so
true. I don't want to say it was true. I saw it on Facebook today, so I don't believe in Facebook every minute of the day. But it said something about there was already being tunnels made for women, like the Underground Railroad, for us in 2022. I don't know if that's true, but scary as hell if it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how sad. I mean, that
it probably is true now that I think about it, for people to come from one state to another for the abortion.
Yeah.
It probably is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I love Stephanie's comment. Keep sweet, pray, and obey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Be good little girls. Be the good wife and the good mom.
Yeah.
Don't show cleavage. Don't show skin.
How many times did you get dress coded, Madison?
Oh God, I got dress coded I don't know. I got dress coded a lot this year.
Like every other day, pretty much.
For this much midriff, my bra strap showing, and the tiniest bit of cleavage. Yet the popular, skinny, rich girls can wear booty shorts and have everything hanging out, and they don't get dress coded.
Mm-hmm.
And the principal's like, well, I went and I tried. And I'm like, no, you haven't. Don't lie to me, because I know that is not the truth.
And that's been true for many years. I always had a womanly shape. And this is when I was secretary at a school. And the other secretary was thin and didn't have a womanly shape. And she could wear skirts up to her bum. And if mine raised above the knee at all, I would get called on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so life has been unfair for women who have womanly shapes for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's right. My granddaughter even got called out for the holes in the jeans, and not because they were ratty looking or they thought they were too sexy. Because boys just can't control themselves.
For holes in the what? Are they
Holes
turned
in the
on by the
jeans.
kneecaps?
The kneecap and a little
Yeah.
above the kneecap, but not too far.
Jeez,
It
Louise.
showed some skin. So it was just
Watch
too
out.
much for those boys to be able to
They're gonna go for the
control
ankles
themselves.
It's going
What
to be
was
the
that,
ankles
Madison?
next. They're going to go for the ankles next.
I know.
We're going to go back to the Victorian years.
Or if you saw an ankle, woo-woo.
Yeah.
And in many ways, we never, for women, we say, oh, we had our rights for 50 years. But that's not necessarily true.
No.
Or
I
about
still, in most of my jobs, I made less than a man would in the
Mhm.
same
still
position.
do.
It was harder. I was telling a few of my kids not a week or so ago, when I was younger and trying to get a loan for a car, I could not even take out a loan, even though I had my own income, unless my husband signed for it and agreed to pay it. If I were single, I could not take out a loan. I think it was
recently, in the last few years, Deb, I realized I had zero credit because Barry's credit, ours together, did not reflect on me.
Right.
Just a couple years ago, I had to take out credit cards just to have credit in case anything ever happened to him. You know, or for any reason that I just wanted to have credit cards on my own.
Earlier this year, I had to, every year I have to redo my student loan stuff. They look at my finances, and it asked if I filed our taxes together. And I said yes. And so they sent me something that Daniel had to sign. So it wasn't even saying that he would be responsible for it if I defaulted. He just had to sign saying it was okay for them to look at my finances.
Oh my God.
We don't share a bank account. Like there's nothing. I didn't even do it. I was so mad. I didn't even turn it in. I was like, nope, not.
So isn't it sad that even with all of that, we celebrated having the right to medical choices of our body, when that should be an American right for everybody.
Yeah, it should be minimum, bare minimum.
Yeah. I mean, we are still a minority. We're still.
Well, we could even go into, and I love this subject because you guys know I talk about it a lot, that there's still that stigma of if you go to somebody's house and their house is a mess, oh, she's a terrible housekeeper. Yes. Both people can be working. She might even be doing extra stuff like running the kids, or he might be, but she might be, or getting them to baseball and all that. But it's still her responsibility. And I guess men could say the same about the yard, but and that kind of work. But it seems like it's more condemnation on the woman than it is the man.
Yeah,
just seems that way to me.
Well, and if a kid goes to school with dirty pants, it's never their dad doesn't do laundry,
right?
Yeah.
And same with what we were talking about with if you're with a few people in that way, and that the men are that's great, and the women are seen as something we don't want to say the name. Yeah.
I did.
Thank you.
Well, and that kind of goes into, I really wanted to hit on this, what Stephanie had to say. We live in a rape culture, and it's been that way all of my life. Again, I was raped more than once. And back then, I just knew that if I said anything, it was going to be my fault.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What were you wearing? What were you doing? What did you say? Where were you? Did you have
How were you acting?
Right.
What were you wearing?
You must have wanted it. You must have done something to make him do that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like she says, tell women how to not get raped instead of teaching boys not to rape. That is our society.
Yep.
And, maybe we can find a silver lining and say, maybe what's going on here can change that. Make people responsible for themselves instead of women responsible for all of that, and men. And again, I'll tell the story about with my first husband, who was, having some fun on the side. And his mom told me, because I wanted to leave him, that's how men are. You have to accept that and don't even talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
You have to expect that. They all do this. No man can ever be happy with one woman. Basically be happy that he's getting it on the side, and that makes him happy, and you just be the good little wife and take care of the kids in the house.
You still see a lot of women put up with because they're afraid financially or whatever, for whatever reason. Or some of the rich people, they just look, boys will be boys and look the other way because they don't want to lose what they have in life. And so that's a good subject, Deb, that some of the women hurt us more than the men do.
Right. Because that's what they were taught. And then they, that has been passed down. How many people, like Dagger says, that's kind of the thing, is just lay back and enjoy it. Well, rape is never enjoyable.
Yeah. Well,
and kind of touching on that.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, just touching on that and kind of circling back to the whole dress code thing that Madison was talking about, and they say, oh, well, you're distracting the boys. If Madison can control herself around other girls that she may find attractive, why can't boys do it?
Exactly.
Right.
What's the difference?
There's not.
Right.
I don't understand that, once again, pushing the, the onus is on the girl to make sure she doesn't get assaulted rather than putting the onus on the assaulter to not do it.
And we have to look at the mindset of this country. We elected the man that we have on tape saying, I wanted to grab their P word. Mm-hmm. And women wore shirts that supported him saying he can grab mine. And things like that. I mean, who thought? And then he was also paid to get out, from my understanding and all my research, to get out of a case that involved a 13-year-old. Mm-hmm. A 13-year-old. But money talks.
Yep.
Money talks.
Right.
But people still voted for him. Just saying.
Right. Yeah. And some still support strongly. And and if it's the other way around, and you have somebody trying to distract the girls, well, hate to say it, but girls aren't all about that. Girls are not going to rape as the norm.
Most,
I'm sure it does happen.
It happens, but a far smaller percentage.
Right. It's a way smaller percentage, partly because we are weaker physically, and we have been taught to, as Dagger said before, just lay back and enjoy it. And or at least lay back and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. And don't tell afterwards. I'll go tell everybody, but you don't get to.
Mm-hmm.
It's
okay. Stephanie says, I know people who are going through that and are ostracized by their friends, family, society for setting the boundary. Yeah. Women who set boundaries are evil bitches.
Yeah.
Come on, that's true even where we have strong women. If we have strong women who rise to power, they're bitches. They're this, they're that. They're not.
Or they slept their way to the top.
Yeah. But men, he's great. He's strong. Listen to him. How great he is.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's powerful.
And she's talking about what I was saying about my first husband, about my mother-in-law saying, that's how men are. Yeah. And
that was that era.
Yeah, she was very adamant. You don't talk about this. You don't give him a hard time because he can't help it. That's how men are.
It's really been instilled too, because I remember my grandmother, she'd be cooking chicken and she would only want the back of the chicken. And I was like, Grandma, have a real piece of chicken, Nope, that's what I like, because she was trained to sacrifice everything. And the men were always fed first. I remember that. I remember the men got to sit down and eat first and get their food before us women or us girls sat down.
Yeah.
So it's very cultural. It's very instilled into, we have to we got to break this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Stephanie says, this is current and it's still happening. And that's all of it back, that we're expected to accept the fact that that's how men are. They are going to cheat on you. That we do make sacrifices, and we do as women. I'm
Our nature.
64. I still make sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. We give to our family and keep our mouth shut.
Stephanie, did you ever find out what our workforce percentage was? Did it ever come
Yeah, women's work are 46% of the workforce, so just a little bit under half. But I mean,
it's still shut down the economy.
Yeah.
That's because they're so busy, having babies.
Yeah.
And it's going to get worse.
It probably doesn't count the self-employed and
sure
all that too.
And the women
or the women that have 3 jobs, because we only get paid 70-some cents on the dollar. So
yeah.
Right. And we all know women who, their husband has a business and the woman does all the back work, basically runs it, but they don't have a job.
Or his career is more important than mine, so I will give up what I'm doing to go follow him or be, whatever. It's all such old.
But in this country, most of the time they make more, so we do what we have. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of all this nonsense, Madison?
It's just dumb. Like, I don't know why women are seen to be less as men when we are mentally we are stronger than men. And
I think so.
I love hearing that from a 14-year-old.
I mean, men are supposed to mature by 40. I see men out in their 80s being childish.
True.
Yeah.
She's going to be a great lawyer, isn't she?
Yeah.
She is.
And we're not dissing men. We're just saying it does feel like we can do more tasks at one time, that we can handle more.
Right.
They have great things that they can do too. I'm not saying there's a balance, but it doesn't mean that we're less than because we can't pick up a 200-pound weight or whatever. Some of us can.
But they, we can do things they can't do, and that's the way it is. But yeah, we're definitely, and all we've ever wanted, all we've ever asked for, every minority, people of color and indigenous and gay and the whole LGBTQA spectrum, is to have equal rights. None of us are saying we're better than.
No, we just
want an advantage.
Right.
And we want our partners to be team players, not above us. Or, I'll never forget when that poem came out about "Don't walk before me, I may not follow." That whole thing, that was pretty cool. We all got on board on that one because, there was a time a woman walked so many steps behind, and
and I believe in some countries that's still the case.
Yeah. And we hide our hair. Our hair's too sexy, so we have to hide our hair.
Oh yeah, lots of sexy going on here.
Why? They need, like we talked about before, isn't it their control issue, not ours?
Right. Julie makes an excellent point. We share this commonality. My child is transgender, and I fear for his safety. Emotions. Yeah, it's scary as hell. It really is, because that whole set of people who made this happen also hate all trans people.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of them have the belief. Some are being told by pastors, shoot them.
Thomas isn't even hiding it. He's coming after transgender next, and
and gay marriage, and and
think about too with the subject of transgender. If they are transitioning female to male and they haven't had the opportunity to get surgery yet, and they fall pregnant, now this person who already has body dysmorphia and already feels like they are not in the right body, now they have to deal with that too. And if they don't have access to a safe abortion, I mean, what's that going to do to the mental health?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Madison, my bra strap's showing. I'd probably be in trouble.
Oh, no, I'm so distracted.
I better. Somebody might be tempted.
Oh, God. You better watch your back.
Yeah. I know.
You shouldn't have to. Isn't that damn sad?
Yeah. That's how silly it is.
Yeah.
How silly is that?
Yeah, it is. It is. Julie, you're so right.
Yep.
We will see a huge increase in suicide. And that scares me as well. It scares all of us because it's true.
That's a good subject. How can we, if we need to start somewhere, how can we create some safe spaces? How can we be, I mean, I know for a while there was like stickers you could put in your window to say, this is a safe place to be. You're safe with me. There was rings you could wear so transgender people knew you were safe.
But you put a sticker in your window now, you're going to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have teachers I had teachers who had like stickers and stuff that said, this is a safe place. I mean, they had the pride flag above the American flag. And oh boy, the Republicans were so angry about it. They were really angry, and they're like, they should ban pride flags.
Texas is scraping off those stickers, I hear.
Yeah.
Let's say this is a safe space.
Texas is just a waste of space anyway.
You know, we spend a lot of time in Texas, and the land itself is wonderful. But I said, go ahead, succeed. Go ahead.
Please.
Please do. Think of that.
Bring it slow. We'll cut you right out.
Yeah, and the political seats they would lose, that would be great. And once they realize they aren't getting any financial support, boy, they're too and their grid, they can't even keep their grid running. Jeez. Yeah, Texas, go ahead and succeed.
But sadly, or not sadly, you know, there's really good people in Texas as well.
Oh, there really is.
You know, Michigan. Sometimes I look around here where I live, and it's like, oh my God, I just feel so smothered. Well, but I know there's also good people.
I think that's the problem. Good people, spiritual people have been quiet too long. That's one of the reasons we're having this show. Yeah. We can't. Silence is agreement. It appears as agreement.
Right.
We have to be spiritual warriors. We have to stand up. We can't keep putting our head and go, oh, I'm just so spiritual. I'm just going to sit here and wait to see what happens. Oh, please.
Yeah, no waiting.
Sorry.
Yeah, you know, Dagger, I agree with you and Beth that, you know, I wish there was a way. They say, make no mistake, we are in the beginning stages of genocide against LGBTQ. We need to fight for all humans.
Yes.
Like Beth said, if only all movements could join into one, because we have, you know, the minorities are just having to fight for themselves right now. All minorities are being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know how they were going to defeat us at Standing Rock is they sent in people to cause discourse among us, so that there was no one big push and movement. There was this group and this group and this group, and try to get us fight among each other. And that's how you win. Yeah, that's how you win. If we don't come together as one,
right?
And we have, oh, well, I'm sorry about your abortion rights, but, you know, our environmental is more important, or this is more important. No, we have to come together as one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, voting, marching, whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I live in a very, very Republican area. And it shouldn't be, you know, when we were kids, it wasn't Democrat, Republican, so divided.
No.
You know, when I learned about voting, it was, you know, real strict in my family. You didn't talk about who you vote for.
Right.
Voting
Yeah, it was
that
implied.
my father was so honored that we could vote. They could vote. My parents could vote, and taught us that you don't talk about that. You don't talk about politics or religion unless you're with people that you can, close
Like-minded.
people. It was. I was taught. I don't know about you guys, but I was taught when you're going to vote for people, you learn everything you can about them.
Mhm.
And you don't
Yeah.
think about the party. It wasn't about this side or this side. It was about you vote for the person, what
Yeah.
they stand for, who they are, what they tell you. And that's not the case anymore.
No.
One thing we learned about the Supreme Court, um, people got in there, were put in there and lied. So
They absolutely did, and they should be held responsible.
anyway,
Madison, you're going to vote, right? When you turn 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't know. I'm planning of as soon as I hit 18 and if I get accepted into college and uni, I want to go to England for that.
You can still
Oh, I
vote.
got it.
You can still vote.
Yeah.
Please vote. If nothing else comes with that, understand even if you feel like it doesn't matter as much as you think it does, it's still important because that is a right you still have. There was a time, Madison, when it wasn't that long ago that women couldn't vote.
right?
We couldn't vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were cattle, we were owned. We had no right to vote. And
That's what I don't understand about this whole strict adherence to the Constitution. Like that was written almost 250 years ago.
Yeah.
Don't they think we need some changes?
Exactly.
I mean, there's 26 amendments, so it can be changed, but
You have to change
it
the
needs
whole
to be
Constitution.
updated once in a while. Maybe
Good point,
things that
Madison.
were pertinent 250 years ago are not pertinent anymore. We can't stick to this document that was written in a completely different time.
All white male written, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Slave owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Madison, I guess my point is a lot of women suffered and sacrificed to get that vote for you. So please don't ignore it.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I learned in history, women back then used to be sold with houses. They'd be like, "Hey, I'm selling my house. Here's my wife.
Or
She
my
can cook for
daughter.
you. She can cook for you. She can clean for you. You can have babies with her."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty sad, huh?
There were girls and boys that had to work in factories, a lot younger than you.
8 years old.
18-hour days and never had a childhood. So union people, women's suffrage, they all sacrificed for you guys to have the rights that you have. And we feel like we sacrificed to have you guys have the rights of choice. And yet we just had it stripped away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's important that we all stand firm. And we all, I beg everybody out there, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Christian, Buddhist, I don't care who you are, what your beliefs are. We have to put a stop to this. We have to take control over our lives because what is happening right now by stripping rights, this has nothing to do with abortion, even though they're using that. It is control. It is their way of controlling the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we all have to stand firm for ourselves, for our children, our grandchildren, and everybody that we love. Because even if your house is not affected right now, like I said earlier, so many people are saying, well, this doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect anybody in my house. It will. It will.
Yeah.
They're coming for you next.
Yeah. In some way, shape, or form, you are not perfect. And something.
You're Methodist instead of Lutheran.
Yeah.
You know, them Lutheran people that are going to be in charge may not like it. And you may have no rights because you're a Methodist.
Right.
Got news for you.
If you don't care now, you're not going to have the opportunity to care later when it does affect you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Boy, anybody's have anything to say out there? Everybody got really quiet.
They started talking about the farmers, and I'm glad that Dagger. Yeah, I do know a lot of good farmers, but I will say when during our travels, we went through a lot of farming communities, and I couldn't believe how many farmers were supporting that person. And this was back when he was really hurting the farmers, but they were still supporting. It's so cult-like. I just can't. I don't know how else to say it. But we welcome people that have a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
We welcome people that say, maybe I could see things a little differently. We don't want to shame you or blame you. We welcome you to come join.
Right.
The fight.
Or to realize that it's not okay to hate others for being different, even slightly different than you.
Right.
It's not all right. And it's not all right to attack and try to harm people or kill people for not thinking the way you do. None of that is okay. It's not okay to want to grab somebody's B word.
It's not okay to have January 6th insertion. That's not okay.
It's not okay.
And as long as you can keep saying it's okay, I'm so sad for you.
Yeah.
Because most people respect people a lot more if you can say, oh, look, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was really wrong about this person. I was really wrong about this issue.
Yeah.
And you would have the respect of everybody that might disagree with you or used to disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But this continuing having to hold on just because your ego won't say, I could have been wrong.
Yeah.
It's sad.
There is power in growth and learning. And, once you stop learning, then you might as well give up, because you can't let your brain get stagnant. You can't let your opinions get stagnant. My opinions on things have changed so much over the years, from even when I was Madison's age. And I continue to learn, and I continue to change my opinion based on the facts that I learn. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. That just makes you a better person when you can continue to learn and you can say, I was wrong about that, and I've educated myself, and I know better now.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us are saying we're 100% right.
Oh, no.
I've been proven wrong on many things. And I hope I'm the type of person that says, oh, I was wrong about that. Or I really screwed up that. Or I really gave you information before I really had all the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's human. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with saying, oh, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I don't really think it's a left-right issue. It's a human rights issue and crosses party lines. This is honestly really scary. And again, I stand firm in it is, in some ways, a left-right issue.
Mm-hmm. Just because that's the way it's been brought out the last 5-6 years,
Right. And there were people put into this Supreme Court purposely by a certain person before they left,
knowing that's
with this being the agenda.
But it was also McConnell. It wasn't just, he didn't do it on his own.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. But by
he's the puppet master. Yeah.
That party. Right. And like I said, when I was younger, it was never about the party.
No.
Person.
Yeah.
But I've never, ever, ever seen Republican be the way they are.
Right. And it's sad.
It was never before if you're Republican, you're a white supremacist.
Yeah. But there's
That
hope
just
because
wasn't-
there's Cheney, and who's the other guy on the January 6th? There's some voice of reason there. We want the old Republican. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we want the old Republican Party back. Even Bush seems like a cute little cartoon character now.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have believed I would ever say those words?
Right. Right. Yeah.
I
And it's
kind of
sad
miss
that
that little
it has
guy.
yeah, it's sad that it has to be this way, but that's what's that two-sided thing is what is dividing us. And it's always been said, united we stand, divided we fall. We have to find a way to become united again.
Mm-hmm.
Just to vote for somebody who is Republican or Democrat should not mean that you have to have an abortion or you have to believe that everybody should have a gun and shoot people of different colors and different beliefs. You know what I mean? We have to come together.
Yep.
My saving grace is, again, it's Standing Rock. I learned a lot of lessons out there. Coming back, and you guys have heard this before, to the youth. This is, oh no, grandmother, everything's come to the surface where it can be healed. It's been laying, getting sick underneath all these years. And now it's being brought out to the surface, out to the light where it can be healed. It's not going to be an easy time because all that stuff is coming up to the surface and we have to go through it and we have to feel it and we have to get sick from it. But it's going to be in the light where it can be healed. And I have to keep thinking about that because I just don't know if I could go on if I didn't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I believe that as well. I believe a lot of what's happening right now is bringing everything to the surface. We are seeing more truths and more true colors that aren't very pretty. But that is hopefully the beginning of the healing. And we all need to heal. But
and maybe once that, since it surfaces, maybe it never has to come back again. Wouldn't that be the beautiful outcome from all this?
Yeah. Right. That would be. Would be. And all we ever asked, again, is to have equal rights. We don't want more rights. We don't want to take anybody's guns or their right to do whatever the hell it is that they want to do, as long as you're not killing people.
And Deb, I know you're not just talking about women. You're talking about LBGQT. I can always say that all the
LGBT.
And you're talking about anybody that is not people of color, anybody who's not
indigenous,
still treated as an equal.
Right. And like you said before, the Methodist and the Lutheran, and the Catholic and the Baptist. I grew up Catholic, and oh my God, I could not play with those Baptist kids. Why?
Besides the clothes, Madison, is there other what you feel sexist stuff that happens at school? I mean, like, are the boys treated differently, any differently than the girls?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Are you talking sports? Just can you give us an example? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Let's see. I mean, in general, with what we can wear, guys can go around school with their shirt off and not get dress coded, but we can't have our midriff showing.
Yeah. What about studies? Do they treat boys like they can do math and science better than girls, or do you feel that? Because that's the way it was when we were growing up.
Actually, so when they ask the question and ask one of the students to answer it, they usually go for the girls.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, plus the population of my school is mostly girls. And there's very few boys. Like in each class, I've noticed that every single one of my classes, it's mostly been girls.
Wow.
Interesting.
So you don't feel like I can't because math's too hard for a girl. You don't feel that, right?
No, in history class, when we had to do our exam review, whenever I had an answer to the question, my history teacher would always choose me first out of like every other person.
Good.
So
I'm glad to see that's changed.
Females are expected to be smarter.
Yeah. Madison, there in my day, boys were expected to go to college. Women were expected to get married and get a good husband. And honest to God, I was really good at volleyball. They came to what do you call it? Where they come to look at you to see if you want to go to college.
A scout.
A scout and me. And they wanted me to come to University of Dayton. And they went to their board, and their board said, nope, we won't give a woman a scholarship. It was 3 years later before they gave a woman a scholarship in track. And my parents, God love them. I love my parents. Don't get me wrong. But my parents never said to any of us girls, you have to go to college. Never. Never. But my brother had to go to college. So I'm glad to see that's changed is my whole point. Do you don't hear that at your school, correct? They expect you all to go to college?
I mean, they're like, well, we would like for you to go to college and you can do certain things to get a scholarship. Like there's this one thing that we could have done that like would, I think gave students a $7,000 scholarship. And they were like, they always say, we would like for you to go to college, but you don't have to.
Okay, here's something else I thought of to see if I'm really curious whether they have this in school still. Us women athletes had to wait for the gym until the boys were finished with the gym to do our practicing, to do our games. Is that still true?
No. Actually, I'm pretty sure I think track is both boys and girls.
Yeah.
Football, you get both boys and girls on the same team. There's this one girl, she's one of my closest friends. She was like one of the first people I talked to in this year of school. And she joined a boys football team, and she was the only girl on there, and she is one of the best players.
Good.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it.
I'm glad to hear things are changing.
Yeah. Just not enough. So, we'll lead the way, and you younger people, well, even Stephanie, because she's kind of,
she's in between,
racing down from us old people, take that torch and keep running with it. And like Stephanie says here, she says, I believe women have been boiling under the surface for a long time. And this decision by SCOTUS has caused a fuck around and find out situation.
Yeah.
And it really has.
Really has.
Yeah. And we will not lie down. We can't. We can't. Yep. I wish that all humans had the luxury of not having to worry about not being good enough or, being a minority or fearing their life or fearing rape or worse. None of us should have to go through that.
Yeah.
And we would really love to see you grow up in a more unitized, however you want to say that, country. Equal. An equal country where you don't have to be afraid. What must it be like to be able to go where we wanted to go and not fear? I don't know.
I mean, I know many companies that sell these little like keychains, and it has like an alarm, really loud. It has a whistle, mace, and it has other things that you can use to protect yourself. Some girls go around with their keys in between their knuckles so they're ready to punch if they have to.
And you're taking kickboxing to learn to defend yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
Proud of you. Yeah. So,
Unionized. Thank
so
you.
can we each go around and give you what we feel if we could speak to our younger self and we can't? So can we speak to you to tell you what advice we'd like to give you or thoughts?
Yeah.
Mine is, I'm going to start. Mine is, don't give yourself away. Don't become less than. If you're in any situation, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, any kind of relationship, don't become less than because you want that person to continue to love you or to begin to love you or whatever it is. Always be you. Always just be you. And that the right person will come that can match your energy. We see too many girls, or it's usually older girls, that give themselves away. They give their energy away. They give their who they are. They give their dreams away. We don't want to see that for you. We want you to be who you are, and the rest will fall into place as long as you stay true to yourself. Deb's turn.
Deb's turn. I'm listening to you. So we have a cameraman. Hello and welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hi, cameraman.
Boy, you know what I would like to say, I guess, to all young people, because this isn't really gender, because it's people of color, people of, again, all the minorities. Stand tall, stand together, have the other person's back, but also know, I've noticed that our society has kind of become, I don't even know how to put this. Like when I was a kid, family was everything. We had our families back. We did everything for family. Now younger people, and it's probably because they have to, kind of see the whole. Okay, I'm going to fight for this and I'm going to fight for that. Let's all find a way. All of the young people help all the way up, all the way down. Find a way where we can unionize and not have to worry about that. I guess there's so many things that I want to say to young people. I wish I would have had a little heads up on that one, Beth.
Sorry. It was spur of the moment.
And always know there is nobody better than you, ever, and there's nobody worse than you.
Right.
You made a great point earlier, Madison, in saying that, they have a difference of opinion, but that's okay. That's what
still nice people. Right.
They're still nice people. That's what we need to get back to in not only this country, but this whole world. We're seeing this around our whole world. When COVID hit, everybody was fighting about mask or don't mask and stay home or don't stay home. Why couldn't we all just have everybody's back and do what we do? And
everybody's back.
Yeah.
And Stephanie, I know you give her advice all the time, so I don't know if you want to do it on here or not. Maybe as all young people, that will come better.
General advice.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a bit more aggressive. We're passing you the torch, and you've got to take that torch and burn it to the fucking ground. Just do it. It needs to be turned on its head, and we're doing the best we can, but it's unfortunately going to be up to you guys to really take it and run with it and make the big changes that need to be made for everyone.
Very well said. I love it. And Madison, have you heard her say that before?
Yeah, she's like, since our generation has made mistakes, your generation is gonna have to do everything to fix it. And all that.
It shouldn't have been that way.
No, but here's the secret. Every generation has done that. Every generation.
It's all about learning. And you younger people are so intelligent and so on the ball. We were nowhere near where you are. We can put that up. I think it's amazing, and I think as time goes on, the world will get better because you guys are damn sure smarter than we are.
Yeah, Dagger made a good point, though, that racism is more than just a difference in opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there went Madison.
Oh.
And the dog knocked her phone over.
Yeah.
And cameraman, I get what you're saying. Due to phones, computers, social thing, we do have more. Remember, Deb, this really tells how old we are. Sometimes we didn't hear news until a week after it happened. You know?
Right.
Especially, so everything's
especially world news.
Yeah. But I am really weirded out or interested that a lot of the same problems happen worldwide at the same time, not just in one nation or so. We all seem to have that collective consciousness going on.
Right. The cameraman today, it's the whole globe dealing with everything all at once, all the time.
It's a lot.
And it's big, it's huge.
It causes depression, it causes overwhelmness, it causes all that. I don't know what the answer is.
Right. Yeah, none of us do. Okay, so the problem isn't generations. This is a class warfare. We are turned on each other by... Oh, okay. I'm not even trying to say that. But I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. And it's...
Madison can read it. I bet she knows that word.
The bourgeois?
I don't know.
The problem isn't generations. This is class warfare. We're turn on. Yeah.
Oh,
the last word?
Bourgeois.
I don't know. Oh, see, so we knew Stephanie would know.
Thank you, Stephanie.
But don't you think it has to do? I know we're just going on and on, but don't you think it does have to do with the white? And I'm white. The white always being at the top of the food chain, and the fear of them not having that power anymore, the fear that we're becoming a rainbow nation. So a lot of, mixed cultures now, and I look forward to that, because how can you be prejudiced against yourself if you have a lot of different cultures? And there's just that fear of, just like the fear of letting go of the gun, there's the fear of letting go of the power of being the top dog in the chain of humanity, So it's just like
we
this
still
fear
need worker ants.
He's helping us. She or he is helping us say, be gorgeous. Okay. Yeah. And what does that mean?
So basically,
rich
people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like bougie, which bougie also is an umbrella term for rich people.
Gotcha.
Well, that's where the word came from, Madison.
Bougie.
Mm-hmm. Bougie came from bourgeois, the bourgeoisie, the upper class, the rich class.
Yeah.
But I still go back to a lot of fear. There's so much fear. You either choose to live in love or you choose to live in fear. And fear is an illusion, and love is all there is that's real. So which do you choose to live in?
And fear is the opposite of love.
And fear is anger and jealousy and resentment and all those negative emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew.
Nobody should have to live that way. And as women, again, we have to stand up for all people, and we need to unite with all minorities. But as women, we have fucking done this for years. All of my life.
Yeah.
And we're getting tired. Sorry about the F-bomb.
It's fine.
It is what it is.
We have, and that's why we have to pass the torch. Okay, so let's see what this is. Speaking of this subject, now that you have brought it up, I have questions, as there has been a lot of chatter about it since RV Wade
Roe versus
providing
Wade.
a blueprint to get it disputed. So let's
Providing the blueprint. Oh, yeah. So there has to be more. Are you saying, cameraman, that we need to have more regulations of becoming a Supreme Court justice, or that we need to expand it, or they need to be held responsible when they lie to get in there? I guess I'm not quite understanding completely your question.
How do we feel about the exceptions of the section one?
Section 1.
Yeah,
I'm not
I mean,
that smart.
Okay, so do you want me to read it? So the
nothing works is all I've got to say. Is the way it's working, nothing works. Yeah, the Supreme Court.
What is the section 1 of the 13th?
So the 13th Amendment was the abolition of slavery.
Okay.
Yeah.
So section 1 is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So the exception is slavery or involuntary servitude isn't allowed except as punishment for the crime that you've been convicted of.
That's not good. Does this have anything to do with what I heard today, where they want to change the word slavery into
enslaved?
Involuntary. What was it?
Prisoners equal slaves.
Yeah.
There's this one guy at my school, and I'm pretty sure it's an accident, but he broke the window at the school. He is black. They're forcing him to pick all the weed from every single weed on school property.
I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
No, that they don't have the right to do that. Yeah.
He didn't have a trial or anything, did he?
No.
Yeah, if I were his parents, I would be furious and put a stop to that.
He's spending all his summer. He's spending his whole summer doing that. He's spending his summer picking up weed.
So his parents are allowing that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I don't know the whole story. Because me and
they
him
might
don't
not feel
really
like they have a choice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they can't afford to replace it.
Minorities don't have the choice. And, as far as slaves go, I'm reading what cameraman had to say, and I'm thinking, slavery to me is being brought back. Women, prisoners, you can't have slaves, but you can make prisoners go out and work the fields and clean things up, and basically they're slaves. But what about females?
Yeah.
Who we're expected to, and we've said it, over and over, we are the ones expected to clean the house, do the cooking, make sure everything is good.
Take care of the
babies.
babies.
Impregnated, whether you want that sex or don't want that sex, or however it happens, now you are enslaved to carry the fetus inside of you for 9 months and raise it for the next, some people would say 18 years. I'm 64 and I have a daughter in her 40s. Not that I really raised her, but it never stops. Does it? Does it ever stop?
Oh,
no.
I have someone living with me older. Yeah. So
and living with us or not, we still feel that responsibility.
Yes.
That, we have to take care of you. Whether we,
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So slavery, yeah.
Well, cameraman, I think that is probably going to be a subject for a different show, because that is a big subject. And unless we want to go for 3 hours, I don't see how we're going to do it justice at all. But good subject. Very good subject.
Yeah, there is still a lawful and legal exception to it. So, yeah. And, again, if 9 people on the Supreme Court can say, okay, we voted today and abortion's no longer legal. everybody in New York can, carry a gun, conceal it. It's okay.
It's okay.
And,
Yeah.
whoever wants to pray in schools can pray in schools. And as Barry said last night, prayer was never taken out. It's the guided prayer,
Right.
doing the single religion.
And
So,
they're thinking
actually,
a certain kind of prayer. They're in for a big surprise.
right. But the thing is, you have these, all of a sudden, all these things are happening. And if that's why I feel so strongly that we have to keep doing this show. If they can do that,
They can do anything.
what else can they do?
And all we have to do is look back at history to see
Yeah.
what they could do.
And we talked earlier, we've got a 10-year-old girl in Ohio who was raped and almost died. Luckily, somebody was able to get her to another state for a safe and legal abortion, or she would have died.
Exactly.
And it was, I believe, an ectopic pregnancy. So
Yeah. And cameraman is actually, that makes a really good point that states are brainstorming how to get things to the Supreme Court to rule on, and how to do it was blueprinted with Roe versus Wade.
This was
So
an
that
easy
the
thing to put
floodgates have been
forward.
opened.
Let's see what we
What?
can get away with. Let's see if we can do this. If we can get away with this, then we'll put forward all these other things as well
Exactly.
and see if we can get those things.
yeah.
I would say of anything, the overturning Roe versus Wade was probably one of the easier things they could have started with. And that's probably, the point of it is start with something that's fairly simple and go from
Right.
there. And then we'll get to bigger things and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to
And
prove that we are
Right.
not baby haters. Congratulations, Stephanie, on the niece and nephew that was born.
I'm a great aunt now.
Adorable babies.
Yep,
Yeah,
my nephew's wife had some twins on the 30th, so I'm excited. We're gonna go see them the end of August, so it's gonna be a long 2 months waiting to see them. But
Yeah.
Your mother just looks like she's beaming.
oh, she's in heaven. Any babies, but especially these ones.
And that was a rough go too, wasn't that pregnancy?
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. She had a rough time.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, we're
They
excited.
were wanted,
Now-
and she had the choice to have them, and they
Yep.
were wanted, and it was a beautiful thing.
Yep. They're gonna be loved and spoiled babies for sure.
That's great. And like you said, Beth, none of us are baby haters. We love our kids. Look at Madison. We
Yeah.
absolutely adore her. But do we believe that every woman has the right to choose for whatever that reason may be?
Yeah.
And that is to choose to have the child as well.
Yeah.
It should be a
That's why it's called choice.
Right.
That was one of the signs we saw down at the last protest was mother by choice for choice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. So Madison, do you have any we're down to not too long to go on here. I'm just really wondering how you're handling this whole crazy conversation. If you have any thoughts about any of it.
I mean, there's not really a lot of thoughts, but I mean, the fact that our rights are being taken by who are mostly straight, white, rich men is just baffling. I mean, another protest sign I saw was, it's bad when a straight white man is marching.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's a shout out to our men last night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We can see things are changing when we have these wonderful men in our lives that stand up and speak
Strong
out.
allies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and I think it's probably as important or more important for men to stand up and speak out because, as we know, they will be listened to. And one of the Supreme Court justices is not a white man.
Right. Yeah. He's the worst.
And a few are women, but they are on that other side. Yeah. So
real quick before we're done, the cameraman made a good point about how also the federal judges have been stacked. So even if we were able to change the Supreme Court judges or prove they were lying or get them whatever they do to them, we'd still have the federal judges stacked pretty big in against us. These are big questions.
Yeah.
Hard questions.
And so true. I mean, cameraman, I'm not sure who you are, but you are making some amazing points. Mm-hmm. And I really thank you for being here and bringing this up.
Yeah.
And a year ago, would we have ever dreamt that Roe versus Wade would be overturned?
No.
Hell no. We worked too hard. Women had come too far. No, we still didn't have equal rights, but we'd come a long ways. I certainly never would have believed it would have been overturned. And Mandy, Mandy's from Australia, so this is her warning. Good morning. Mandy.
Yeah, we know you're the cameraman. We just don't know who you are. But yes, you. We're talking to you. Yes.
Yeah. Just me, the dude behind the person behind the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, we're glad
we really appreciate everybody's comments because everybody had really really good thoughts and points.
Super good thoughts and points, and a lot to think about.
Yep.
Me too, Dagger. I kept thinking somehow we could save it, but it didn't happen.
And I have to say, I don't know if Dagger wants people knowing this, but Dagger is my child.
Oh, hi, Dagger. Of course.
With maybe even more attitude than I have. I tried warning people XP, even I didn't think it would be this. Oh, yeah. I remember Dagger telling me,
And cameraman says
they're gonna overturn Roe versus Wade. And I'm like, no, that can't happen.
Yeah, I just kept believing that something would save it. Cameraman said, I'm an investigative journalist exploring the world. Well, we're glad to have you. Easiest way to get the opinions of real people, go talk to them when they talk to each other. And that's, we even said yesterday, how do we help even at our Lost Souls about missing people? This is one of the ways we're helping.
Right. Yeah, we can't sit back and be quiet.
No.
I never intend to.
No.
Never. Yeah. So that's a super good point. And,
I am woman, hear me roar.
Amen.
Unfortunately, I know all the words to that song.
We're not going to take it. We're not going to sit back. We won't go back. And Barry made a point. I think it was Barry or Daniel made a point last night. No, we didn't go back 50 years. We've now gone back 150 years.
Yeah.
So they keep pushing it. And what everybody has to realize is they are the minority.
Yes.
We are the majority. And if we can't sit back and let them do this. I mean, I know so far we are, but back when I was young, it was the local bars, pubs, clubs, pool halls, and arcades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cameraman, you should be happy that you can talk to everybody from the couch because
so can we.
COVID and things like that we may not want to be in those bars and places. So,
yeah, we really learned the beauty of the internet with COVID, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
And I got to say that being a bar never really paid off for me. Always seemed to be some kind of regret the next day.
But you weren't a journalist, so you're not trying to get information.
I was just a social butterfly.
Well, we do thank you, cameraman.
Yeah, we've really had a really nice variety of people
Right.
who have really good opinions and really good thoughts and maybe some really good points.
So what is, I've been hearing so many people lately in the last week, and we hear this often on anyways. Well, what if we don't vote for this side or this side? We just vote for the middle.
That would be idealistic,
It would
but it's
be.
not realistic.
It's gonna hurt.
It's going to hurt. And I wanted that out publicly. We have to vote. We have to vote.
Let's take one step at a time. Let's get our rights back, and then maybe create a grassroots third party, whatever.
Yeah, but first we have to vote.
We gotta get our rights back first.
Yeah, and Biden did say this would be on the ballot. We don't know what else might be on the ballot, but
right.
Hopefully all rights come back. I love the octopus.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite things. Goes happy, angry.
You can just tell with that how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always at this.
Mom walks in the room and sees that black one. She's like, "Oh no,
not this again."
Oh, look at this. Dagger says, "Oh my God, I love Madison Squid." And cameraman says there is no middle. Let's see what this says. I agree, there is no middle. That's been taken away as well. There's only left and right. And the middle would need to get 10% of the vote in the previous level. Yeah.
And that always hurts somebody.
Right. Yeah. In our case, for issues like this, and this is my opinion, don't hate me for my opinion, but for all of these issues, to get our rights back, we have to vote blue.
Right. Absolutely, Mandy.
We cannot continue becoming a white supremacist society.
You know what? It's okay. There's room at the top of the mountain for everybody.
Right.
Let's lift each other up instead of pushing each other down.
Yeah.
Let's give a hand if we're up there or feel we are, let's reach down and help pull others up that maybe didn't have the same breaks we had, or the same family we had, or the same opportunities that we had.
Right. And Mandy says, imagine the mental health issues on the rise because of this decision.
Exactly.
Mental health issues, big time. Suicide will increase. Murders. I mean, think about how many men have been able to say, oh no, we're not going to do that. Here's the money, go get an abortion. Back in the day, there were many men that murdered their wives and girlfriends.
And yep, cameraman, we agree with that.
Let me play devil's advocate on that one. You have to vote blue to get it back. Okay?
Yeah, we're good with that.
I try not to offend, but maybe I do. Maybe I
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who's been offended? We've been offended. Us women have been offended.
Yeah.
And we're worried about offending others. Not anymore.
No, I have to agree with that statement that they put up. That's been a do nothing for too long, and that's kind of what I said is if they want to play dirty, then we got to play dirty.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We've been,
it's time.
Kumbaya for way too long, and
Democrats have been too nice and too lazy.
Right. And they are, typically the more spiritual, the loving, don't hurt anybody. That's who we are. And that's, and that's what we need to a point. But it's time
that's the end goal, but we're not there yet.
And get pissed.
Right.
They will be.
Right. We agree with all that. It's less evil. I don't know. But we do have to do something about it. It can't mean that we just settle for that
No. It's now, it's come to the point where we have to say how important it is to vote. You have to vote blue.
Vote Democrat and vote women.
We have to even it out.
I know, it's our turn. Damn
People
it.
of color, one of our biggest blessings was President Obama.
Yeah, let's get in a mixture. It's not just all about us.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. We need balance. So we are at the top of the hour. We're going to close out. We might even come back and do this again next.
We may. And we may have to.
Yeah. Because, we never say enough. I feel like there's always more to say. Okay. In fact, lately, I'm flipping talking in my sleep. Getting money out of politics is crucial to having a less corrupt government. Oh, God. Amen to that. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. And I agree with you, cameraman, but we have got to get back to normal, at least sanity. If we can get back to sanity, then let's work on the problems that are there. But right now, everything's so insane. It's so insane that if we keep going in this insane route, we're just going down that rabbit hole.
Right.
I can't, and I know we're all exhausted from it.
It's time to come back.
Right.
For sure. So,
but I agree, and that's a whole nother show about talking about that, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm exhausted. I don't know about you guys.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
You stay up too late.
That's
Me
true.
Too. Guilty.
So how about if we come back on next Monday at 7?
Works for me.
Yeah.
I think we got to keep.
I'm on board.
It's welcome.
Cameraman, we'll expect to see you there, and Dagger, and
anybody that wants to come on here and have a voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just know. I was really hoping Goose could make it tonight, but
yeah. We're glad Madison did, though.
Yes. Thank you, Madison.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I love you guys.
All right.
And we'll all talk next week. Everybody, keep your vibrations up and vote.
Yes.
Good night.
Night.
Andy's going to be there.